Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, if you're watching this, you've probably just achieved something absolutely huge. You got your university offer for Ireland. That's fantastic news, seriously. But I want you to think of this upcoming move as more than just a trip. It's an exciting quest, and like any epic quest, to actually conquer it and arrive safely, you're going to need a strict, structured strategy. We're going to map out exactly how to set up your new life over there, completely stress-free. Because, look, here's the reality. Arriving with your acceptance letter in hand, that's really just the prologue. The next 4 weeks of your life in Ireland are going to involve a highly specific chain of administrative tasks. Honestly, think of them like a series of locked doors. Each task you complete is the key that unlocks the next one. And if you skip a step, well, you don't just face a minor hiccup, you're looking at compounding delays that can seriously mess with your housing, your health, and yep, your wallet. Okay, let's just dive right into this roadmap. First, we'll cover the first 4 weeks. Second, visas, your IRP, and your PPS number. Third, we're looking at finances and work rights. Fourth, navigating student housing. And finally, number 5, health, safety, and culture.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the first 4 weeks.
So this right here is the domino effect of moving to Ireland in action. Before you even pack your bags, you need to apply for your visa, open a digital bank account like Revolut, and book your immigration appointment. Then in week 1, you enroll and grab a local SIM card. Week 2 is all about getting your PPS tax number and opening a traditional Irish bank account. And weeks 3 and 4, that's for finding a doctor and snagging a part-time job. It's like a giant puzzle. If you don't book that immigration appointment before you travel, you literally can't open a bank account in week 2. It's all connected.
Moving right along to Section 2, visas, your IRP, and the PPS.
If you're applying for a Type D, long-stay study visa, this right here is your magic number, 10,000 euros. This is the benchmark figure of liquid, easily accessible savings that you have to show immigration officers. And listen closely to this part, this money must be completely separate from the tuition you've already paid. It's there to prove you can independently support your living costs for that entire first year. Now, when you finally arrive, your passport gets stamped. But there's a really crucial point I need to make here. There is a massive difference between a Stamp 2 and a Stamp 2A. A Stamp 2 lets you work 20 hours a week during the term and 40 hours during holidays. But Stamp 2A? That means absolutely zero work rights. None. It's a fundamentally different permission. So always verify your specific course is on the official ILEP list so you secure that Stamp 2. Okay, next up. Within 90 days of landing, you have to get your Irish Residence Permit, or IRP. The fee for this is 300 euros, but take note of this really specific detail from the source. At the Dublin office, they do not take card payments for this. Crazy, right? You need to bring physical cash or an Irish postal order. Also, these appointments book up incredibly fast, like blink and you miss it fast. So you need to book yours online the absolute second you secure a permanent Irish address. Let's just quickly break down the absolute necessity of this specific sequence. Step 1, you get the IRP card, which proves your immigration status. Step 2, you use that card to apply for your PPS number, which is your tax ID. And finally, Step 3, you take both of those documents to open your Irish bank account. You cannot just skip straight to Step 3. The IRP card basically cascades into everything else in your Irish life. Which brings us to Section 3, finances and work rights. All right, this is a massive detail you do not want to miss. You absolutely do not want to lose 40% of your hard-earned student wages to Ireland's emergency tax system. But if you don't register correctly, the government legally has to hold back up to 40% of your pay. No way we're letting that happen. To avoid this, get your PPS number, go straight to revenue.ie, set up a My Account profile, and register your new job. Doing this tells the system to just tax you normally. Now, to solve the classic chicken and egg banking problem, needing an address for a bank, but needing a bank to rent an address, check out this 2-account strategy. First, open a digital account like Revolut before you even arrive, using just your passport. That covers your daily spending. Then later, use your IRP to open a traditional account like AIB for your actual salary. Oh, and for sending money back home, use a service like Wise. The fees are super low, usually around 0.4 to 0.6%. Okay, time for some really great news about your earning potential. For 2025, the minimum wage is $13.50 an hour. And because your Stamp 2 allows you to work part-time in the term and full-time in the summer, you could earn up to roughly 15,660 euros a year. But it gets even better. Because Ireland offers a combined tax credit of $3,750, the vast majority of the student income effectively stays completely tax-free. That is a huge win.
Let's shift gears to Section 4, Navigating Student Housing.
The data here is, well, it's pretty eye-opening. Ireland is currently facing a severe national housing shortage. In Dublin alone, there are 2.7 students competing for every single purpose-built student bed space. It's a highly, highly competitive market. Honestly, treating your accommodation as an afterthought is the single biggest mistake you can make. You absolutely must take early action to avoid a serious crisis when you land.
When we compare your main housing options and regional costs, you'll see on-campus housing is great, but it fills up instantly. Shared houses give you independence, but require some pretty hefty upfront deposits. But notice the digs or homestay option here. This is where you rent a room in a local family's home. According to the source material, this is very often the fastest, warmest, and safest route to a verified room, especially if you're a student arriving completely alone.
Now, because the market is so incredibly tight, rental fraud targeting international students is sadly a growing problem. But here are your defense mechanisms. First, stick exclusively to trusted platforms like daft.ie or rent.ie. If its supposed landlord refuses to do a live video call viewing, or if they demand funds via Bitcoin or Western Union before you've even signed a contract, walk away immediately. Unusually low rent for a central location is almost always a trap.
And finally, Section 5, Health, Safety, and Culture.
First things first here. Private health insurance is not optional. It is literally mandatory if you want to register your IRP card. Policies from providers like LIA, VHI, or Irish Life Health will run you about $400 to $600 a year. Without it, you legally cannot stay past 90 days. So once you arrive, register with a local general practitioner right away. And definitely check if your university has a free student health center. That can save you that 60 to 80 euro private visit fee. On the topic of safety, sources note that back in August 2025, an embassy advisory was issued following incidents in specific outer Dublin suburbs, which did prompt increased police patrols. However, neutrally speaking, Ireland remains generally very safe by international standards, and the vast majority of international students study there safely without any issues. The main takeaway? Just take sensible precautions. Travel in groups after dark in unfamiliar areas, and be sure to save emergency numbers like 999 or your embassy contacts in your phone. Look, moving to a new country is a massive life event. The documented reality is that culture shock hits most students around months 2 to 4. And you know what? It is completely normal to feel overwhelmed. What's fantastic is that Ireland has incredible, free mental health resources. From free university counseling to 24/7 text lines like 50808 to services like Jigsaw for the under 25s, there is zero stigma in using these supports. Let's normalize reaching out. Finally, let's talk a little bit about culture. Irish communication is incredibly warm, but honestly, it can be a bit indirect. A perfect example is the famous phrase, "that's grand." Depending entirely on the context, this could mean genuine approval, or it could mean polite disagreement. So if you ever get ambiguous feedback from a university tutor or maybe a landlord, don't just guess what they mean. Always politely ask clarifying questions. Well, look how far we've come. You've mapped out the bureaucracy, you understand the budget, and you've got a solid handle on the culture. The entire blueprint is right here. So the only question left for you is, armed with this strategy, are you ready to pack your bags and actually begin your Irish journey? Thanks so much for watching this explainer, and best of luck on your adventure.